Alright guys, in today's video we have some very exciting PlayStation 5 news to go over and talk about once again, starting with God of War Ragnarok and how, according to one developer, they believe it's going to be Game of the Year 2021 material, and they also said that they are working on something special and crazy, which I don't know about you guys, that gets me extremely excited. I absolutely cannot wait to see or hear more about God of War Ragnarok. We're also talking about Gran Turismo 7 and how it seems very likely, if this PlayStation ad is to be believed, it will be releasing in the first half of 2021. We're also clearing up some confusion because for some reason there are individuals who have been trying to spread the narrative for some reason that the PlayStation 5 does not come with an HDMI 2.1 cable, when in fact it does ship with an HDMI 2.1 cable. Just something that I thought I'd clear up because there's some misinformation being spread about that. And finally, we're talking a little bit more about Demon's Souls and how apparently it's going to have over 180 game help videos for players via the PlayStation 5 UI, which is pretty important, I'd say, especially if you're somebody who's looking to try to platinum the game. So if you could do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button to help the video out, subscribe if you're new, and hit the bell notification icon. But starting here with God of War Ragnarok, it says God of War Ragnarok on PS5 will be Game of the Year 2021 material, according to one of Sony Santa Monica Studios' game testers. Ever since the announcement of the sequel back in September during Sony's PS5 showcase, hype levels for God of War Ragnarok are pretty high. Sony only showed off the game's logo, accompanied by the iconic voice of Christopher Kratos Judge, but fans marveled in ecstasy after hearing the actor's voice once again. Yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate description. A game tester and UI designer at Sony Santa Monica Studio, Sammy, has now turned up the hype even more, saying that the Ragnarok team is working on something special and crazy, and that fans should get ready for next year's Game of the Year. And so his tweet reads, "Played God of War 2018. Feels surreal now. Back then, I never thought I would be in game development in any form. We're working on something special and crazy. It's time to get ready for Game of the Year 2021. Now, this is obviously something that he is, I'm assuming, allowed to say. I don't know for sure. It'll be interesting if the tweet gets taken down, then it's not like he's revealing anything major about the game, but he's definitely doing a good job in letting people know that this game is going to blow us away. And to be honest, the expectation for a God of War sequel is sky high. And the question is, as it always is with these games that have sequels coming, where the first title, it reached a new level that people just weren't expecting and weren't anticipating. Anytime you hear about a sequel, the big question is, will it be able to fill those shoes? Is it going to be able to live up? Is it going to be able to match that hype or possibly even surpass it? And I don't know why, but for God of War Ragnarok, I have the utmost faith in Sony Santa Monica. I don't see a situation arising where they're not going to deliver in a very big way, and you can tell that this is a game that I think is going to blow people away. I've been saying this on my podcast, but I'll say it here since we're talking about it. I have a feeling that when they show the first gameplay trailer or just the first look at this game outside of just the logo, I think it's going to melt people's faces. I think it's really going to just blow people away. And you're going to see the hype for the PlayStation 5 skyrocket to a level that it's currently not at, which is hard to believe because it's currently up there pretty high. But once we see God of War Ragnarok paired alongside the PS5, it's going to be something special. And I already knew that. I think we all know that. But it's nice to hear the developers are just as enthusiastic and excited. So yeah, definitely wanted to take a couple of moments here to let you guys know about that. Let me know down in the comments below, how hyped are you for God of War? What do you think about what this developer is saying about the game? But moving on and talking about Gran Turismo 7, Polyphony Digital and Sony have yet to formally announce a release date for the next Gran Turismo entry, Gran Turismo 7, yet a new PlayStation advertisement seems to offer somewhat of a broad release window. Should a brief line in the ad prove accurate, fans of the long-running racing series may find themselves behind the wheel in the first half of 2021. The ad in question is reportedly popping up on YouTube for some users in Canada, and this has been relayed by GT Planet. Situated in the ad's bottom left corner is a quick note that reads, well, I can't read it because it's in French, but if you translate it, the blurb in English translates to the following: release scheduled for the first half of 2021. And so this is not yet made official. Like, we do have to take this with a grain of salt because it could just be a marketing mistake, but it does seem pretty intentional if you look at it. It's in small text, and you know, I'm going to be honest with you guys right now. I believe this 100% because Gran Turismo 7 already kind of seemed like it was being set up as a launch window title. And so it wouldn't surprise me if it does release in the first half of 2021. One thing that has become abundantly clear to me, and I'm sure many of you, is that Sony has really done a great job in setting up their pipeline of games. And they have a situation on their hands where they have so many games that it's not about having the content there and ready to go. It's about how do we distribute this content evenly and make sure that we're not putting, you know, this game here where it shouldn't be, and it's going to get in the way of this game. And so I think the launch of the PlayStation 5 is proving to be incredibly strong. We know that shortly after the launch, we're going to be looking forward to Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and it wouldn't surprise me if alongside that, we end up getting Gran Turismo 7. It really does seem like, and I've said this multiple times, but I just have to reiterate it, seems like the first 12 months of the PS5 is going to blow away every previous generation. Like, there's just going to be so much content, exclusive games. It's going to be too much, I think, for people to handle. At least that's how it seems. So yeah, moving on from that though, we're clearing up the misinformation that has been spreading like wildfire. I don't know why. It's pretty ridiculous if you ask me, but there's been this narrative that people are trying to convince others that, oh man, the PS5 does not come with an HDMI 2.1 cable, but the Xbox Series X does. And, you know, this is kind of a big deal because we know that 120 FPS has been something that's been marketed alongside both consoles. And I do believe that an HDMI 2.1 cable is necessary alongside, obviously, a screen that's capable of doing 120 FPS, but the cable is necessary to make that happen. And so it says here, a nice little detail to take into account when you bust open your PS5 later this month: the HDMI cable that the console comes with is actually HDMI 2.1, meaning that it supports 4K resolution at 120 Hz. Yes, it's the same as the Xbox Series X. In other words, you won't have to go and buy a new HDMI cable if you want to game at 120 FPS. Just wanted to clear this up. Like, it's been confirmed already. Like, I don't know why there's people trying to spread this misinformation when, you know, Sony has confirmed this themselves. It's been confirmed by other outlets. Like, yes, you're going to get an HDMI 2.1 cable with the PS5. That's not something you need to worry about. But moving right along here to finish up this video, we need to talk about some new information about Demon's Souls that I do find very interesting. And that is the fact that it's going to take full advantage of one of the PS5's newest features, that being game help. And if there's any game that I think people will actually utilize this feature with, it's going to be Demon's Souls. So it says Demon's Souls Remake creative director Gavin Moore has revealed in an interview with the Washington Post that the upcoming title will utilize the PlayStation 5's UI to offer over 180 game help videos to struggling players. The activities portion of the UI was first detailed last month. According to Sony, the feature is designed to bring you closer to the key elements of gameplay. Activities are displayed via on-screen cards in the control center, which enables you to discover new gameplay opportunities, go back to things you missed, jump directly into levels or challenges you want to play, and much more, explains Sony. Some activity cards can be put in picture-in-picture mode so you can view them without having to leave the game. So From Software games are known for their difficulty, so players can certainly make good use of these 180 plus videos. So that's a lot of videos, guys. Like, that's a lot of content that is being developed. And, you know, I think it's actually really great because it just goes to show that Sony's very serious about, you know, allowing their developers to try to really pursue this in meaningful ways. And if this really catches on, then it could be a game changer in the game help space. Like, you know, most people, including myself, we go to YouTube to look for these things, and it's not that it's difficult to do that, right? Like, I don't think anybody's complaining that it's difficult to just pull out your phone, basically use that as your second screen. But it, you know, there's also no denying that having it built directly in, like you just press a couple of buttons on your controller, and before you know it, you have a, you know, picture-in-picture on your screen, and you can just follow it step by step if you want to do it that way, just like you would if you were following, you know, a tutorial or a guide on YouTube. I think that that's going to be something that, you know, proves to be extremely useful, and I think Demon's Souls is the perfect game for this. And so, you know, I don't know how much I'm going to be using it. I'm going to try my best not to, obviously. I want to try to learn everything and do everything organically in the game, but knowing that if, you know, I'm trying to platinum the game and there's just something that I'm like, oh, I can't figure this out, I really got to go look this up. The fact that it'll probably be built in right there, that's kind of awesome to me. I really do like that, and I'm going to be interested to see how other games implement it and utilize it. But more specifically, and this is the big one, it's going to be interesting to see if third-party developers end up doing this. I mean, there's no doubt that it is extra work, but it might be worth, you know, their while, right? Like, this might be something that people really do latch onto and they really do like, to the point where they kind of, I don't want to say demand that third-party developers, you know, spend time, you know, making that, doing this stuff, but it could be something that's maybe expected from the big AAA third-party games, and I think that that would be great. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it informative. Leave it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon, and be sure to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.